(1:15). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Niranjan Abesundara. 100,000 metric tons of fertilizer owned by private companies will be given to farmers next week. Balti Radhapaksa's name gazetted as a national list MP. The government always protects media freedom. Trial at bar appointed here case against Hemasri and Pujith. Samanth Vaidyaratna and Namal Karnaratna arrested after surrender. SLBC and Rupavahini are ready for a meaningful media culture. In world news, nuclear talks in jeopardy as Iran produces enriched uranium. 100,000 metric tons of fertilizer owned by the private companies will be given to the farmers next week. Accordingly, the fertilizer will be provided to the farmers during the next 3 months. Minister Mahindranath Aluthukampage said information had been received about a stock of hidden fertilizer. Therefore, a discussion was held recently with all relevant companies. The Government Printing Department has received documents required to gazette the name of former Minister Balti Radhapaksa as a Member of Parliament representing the Sri Lanka Pudal Peramana National List. Elections Commission had directed the relevant documents to the Government Printing Department. SLPP's architect Balti Radhapaksa is accordingly expected to take oaths as a parliamentarian tomorrow after his name is published in the Gazette Extraordinary. Minister Udega Mampila said that there is no intention to privatize or lease the oil tax. He made the remarks in Parliament to a question raised by parliamentarian Hesha Bithana. Minister Dr. G.L. Peris said measures will be taken to open the schools having less than 100 students. 240,000 teachers will be vaccinated. A program will also be initiated to provide distance education systematically to the students. Minister Siripala De Silva said opportunities will be given for the migrant workers to be quarantined free of charge. Minister Mahinda Amravira said all necessary measures will be taken to protect the Mutharajwala forest. Aboriginal leader Sadith Premadas said measures should be taken to protect the freedom of expression. Minister Bandhu Gulwadara said in Parliament that the government has not controlled the media freedom. He said the government respects the media freedom of all media institutions. The Chief Justice has appointed a special 3-bench trial bar at the Colombo High Court to hear the case against former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando and former IGP Purija Sundara on negligence of duties and failure to prevent the Easter Sunday attacks. In May, Attorney General exhibited for information in the Colombo High Court consisting of 800 charges against Jayasundara and Fernando in respect of those killed and injured in the Easter Sunday attacks. They have been charged in 2 separate trials at bar for the offences of murder and attempted murder for their serious lapses and grave omissions to prevent the Easter Sunday bombings. The former IGP and former Defence Secretary have been accused of neglecting their prior intelligence input on the impending attacks, thereby failing to prevent the loss of life. Police spokesperson DIG Adit Rohan has said 5, including Samantha Vaidyaratna and Namal Karnaratna, have been arrested for violating quarantine regulations. They had surrendered to the Bogakumbra police this morning. The former JVP provincial councillor and the national organizer of All Sudan Farmers Federations and other arrestees have taken part in a protest on the 1st of July at Boralanda in violation of quarantine regulations. The police said the arrestees will be produced before the Valibadi court later today. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
The National Radio and the National Rupavahini are jointly planning a program to introduce a meaningful media culture to the country. An agreement in this regard will be held at the Anand Samarakon studio of the National Radio this afternoon. Secretary of the Media Ministry, Jagat P. Vijayveera, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, Hudson Samarasinghe, Director General, Chandrapal Lenage, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Reginald Kure, and Director General, Jampith Hinkanda will be present at the occasion. Another batch of Russia's Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine, also known as the COVID-Vac, arrived in Sri Lanka early this morning. The vaccine consignment containing 50,000 doses was handed over to the State Pharmaceutical Corporation at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka. This is the fourth vaccine consignment delivered by the Russian government in keeping with the purchase order placed by the SPC to boost the island's inoculation drive. That ends local news for now.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus. An unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112 357 357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The government has paid attention on the problems faced by the private bus industrialists due to the COVID pandemic. Transport Minister Gamini Lokage said these industrialists are facing difficulties including maintenance and insurance cover due to non-operating of their buses during the pandemic period. A discussion was held in this regard to provide some concession for them with the representatives of insurance companies. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. Residents complained that Sitaradora Aranya Senasena premises have become a paradise of racketeers. The surrounding of this land has now become a thick, weedy forest. At present, valuable timber is also being destroyed by these racketeers. The situation will affect the biodiversity. This was the attention of the Nagori Village Secretary, and that came to you in Watchlight.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
To drive growth in the digital marketing industry, Sri Lanka's foremost digital marketing experts have come together to launch the Digital Marketing Association of Sri Lanka, which will play a vital role in recognizing, representing and supporting digital marketing professionals of the country. Formed with the guidance and recommendation from experts in the industry, the association strives to be the ultimate representative of digital marketing, marketing technology and online media industries, providing a platform for professionals involved in the digital marketing field to connect. That is Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
On to world news. Nuclear talks in jeopardy as Iran produces enriched uranium. City lockdown extended as Delta outbreak spreads. Legendary Indian actor Dilip Kumar dies at 98. UN's atomic watchdog has said Iran has begun the process of producing enriched uranium metal which could be helped to develop a nuclear weapon. Tehran informed International Atomic Energy Agency saying the process was to develop fuel for research reactor. British, French and German officials said the move could threaten talks to revive abandoned 2015 nuclear deal. The US called it an unfortunate step backwards. The deal, known formally as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, imposed restrictions on Iran's nuclear program to make it harder for them to develop the nuclear weapons. City residents will be in lockdown for another week as Australia's largest city fights to contain COVID outbreak. New South Wales government said it had made the difficult decision as it battles the highly transmissible Delta strain. A stay-at-home order was issued on 26th of June, but clusters have emerged after some people who were found to be infected left their homes for essentials. The outbreak of around 30 cases is the worst in the city this year. Dilip Kumar, one of India's earliest and most famous actors, died in Mumbai at the age of 98. A veritable legend, Kumar acted in more than 65 films over nearly 5 decades, playing the role that ranged from the iconic to the endearing. He was admitted to hospital on 30th of June after he complained of breathlessness. He had been frequently ill for months. Kumar is survived by his wife Saira Banu, a Bollywood actress herself. The couple have no children. Tributes have been pouring in on social media for the legendary actor. And back to the headlines of the world news. Nuclear talks in jeopardy as Iran produces enriched uranium. City lockdown extended as Delta outbreak spreads. Legendary Indian actor Dilip Kumar dies at 98. On to development news. State Minister Dumita Dissanayake inspected the reconstructed Epavada Ihela Siyamalave Vava. This was developed under the Vari Saubhagya program to develop the rural tanks and dams. 190 million rupees was spent for the reconstruction work. There's development news and on to sports news. 25 Sri Lanka's national cricket players have signed tour contracts for the upcoming home series against India, according to reliable sources of the Sri Lanka cricket. Sri Lanka and India are due to battle a 3-match ODI series, a 3-match T20 series from July 13 to 25th of July at R. Premadasa International Stadium. And Italy beat Spain on penalties to reach the Euro 2020 final after an enthralling semi-final at a noisy Wembley. After Alvaro Morata's penalty was saved, Johnny Go strolled up to some score and set up a final with either England or Denmark in London on Sunday. England prepare to face Denmark in the semi-finals of Euro 2020 at Wembley today, knowing victory will secure them a place in a major men's tournament final for the first time since 1966. That is sports news. Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The National Lotteries Board made history record by selling lottery tickets in the first quarter of this year by strengthening the economy of the country. But due to the COVID pandemic, lottery agents could not continue their task. As the measure recommends the sales, 22,500 rupees was given to 21 lottery agents. That is economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department said the showery condition over the southwestern, western, Sabaragamuwa, central and southern provinces of the island and the windy condition and the surrounding sea areas are likely to enhance during the next few days, particularly on the 9th and 10th. Showers of thundershower occur at times in the western, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern, southern and central provinces. Fairly heavy showers, about 7 millimeters, can be expected in some places. Showers on the showers may occur at several places in the Uva and eastern provinces and in the Mullaitivu district during the evening or night. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And back to the headlines of the news. 100,000 metric tons of fertilizer owned by private companies will be given to the farmers next week. Balti Rajapaksa's name gazetted as a National List MP. The government always protects media freedom. Trial Bar pointed to hear case against Hemasuri and Pujith. Samanth Vaidaratna and Nama Kanuratna arrested after surrender. SLBC and Ruvani are ready for a meaningful media culture. In world news, nuclear talks in jeopardy as Iran produces enriched uranium.